I have now the magneto in a vise. Be very careful when putting it in a vise that you don't over tighten it, because they're very fragile. Usually it's made of an aluminum casting, so you don't tighten it too tight in order not to crush it. Now, to remove the back part of the magnetos, you have 4 attaching bolts, which is one here, and the same on the other side. Now, I only have one attaching screw left to remove, so it won't be that long to remove it. Then we'll have a look on the inside of the magneto itself. Now, this is off a marine engine, so maybe yours could be different. You can see in this casing, that is the rotor itself. You may not have this special casing in there on your magneto because of the fact that this is a marine engine, so it has to be sealed against humidity, water, and stuff like this. Yours could be attached directly, the distributor cap could be attached directly to the magneto itself. These in the back are your timing gears, which hold the rotor, which I have here in my hand, which goes here and points now towards cylinder number 1. As prior explained, when you remove prior to removing the magneto, the engine must be in position, firing position 1 at top center of the crankshaft. After you remove your rotor, then on the gear itself you have an A and a C, and you have a small notch on the bottom gear. These timings must be respected when putting it back together. So what I did is count the number of notches between the A on the upper gear and the pointer or notch on the smaller steel gear of the magneto. Now, to remove this unit, you have to remove first the smaller gear, which is held in place by a, I don't know if you see it, a small circlip. I will remove the circlip. All of this work is done with standard tools. You don't need any specialized tools to do this. There, now I have in my hand the circlip itself. The gear itself usually comes off easily. There's a flat section on the gear, so you can't make an error in putting it back the wrong way. All you have to remember is to put the timing notch towards the outside of the magneto. The magneto, this is the housing that holds at the same time the points and the condenser. To remove that, you have 3 screws, which I am removing right now. Prior to this, there's a part missing in the magneto, which is the coil itself, which I am now in the process of replacing. Once this unit that I am unscrewing or removing will be removed, you will see the rotor itself. So the unit is put in there. You have 2 guide pins, so there's no error margin in putting it back. It has only one spot that it can go back into. Now you're looking at the rotor itself. As you can see, this is the part that has to be remagnetized. Now, to remove this, I'll put the camera down for a while in order to show you. You have I have to move the magneto itself in the vise. Okay, now you see the front part of the magneto with its gear. You will notice that there's a slotted round thing there. That is a screw, which you will have to unscrew going this way, which will allow you to remove the gear, and there's a spring loading system inside there which will come out with the gear. This unit is removable as a complete assembly. In order to achieve this, what you'll need is a good old-fashioned plumber's pipe wrench, big enough to hold the gear itself. If I'm correct, I may be in error here, and I am, because it was loose. But what you could do is find a way to jam the magnet on the inside of the magneto itself in order to remove the screw. Mine was already removed, so if it won't come off that easy. So what you do is you slack it off about, I'd say, 3 turns, and then you whack it with either a brass hammer or something soft. Don't use a steel hammer, you may damage the front part of the screw, and it will pop off afterwards. In the inside, I have the part here. These are your loading springs that at low RPM, or when you're cranking the engine by hand, which allows you to have a spark. That's what you're hearing in the magneto, that does a clicking sound when it turns at slow speed. Inside the magneto housing, once the gear is removed, you will see there's a keyway on the shaft itself. This keyway goes in one of these 2 slots. Either this one or that one, and they are marked R or L. L is for a left-hand turning engine, and the R is for a right turning engine. Mine is a left turning engine, so when putting it back together after line, this slot with the keyway in the shaft of the magneto. Now I will remove the magnet itself. Prior to this, I am able to remove mine directly because there is a small rubber seal inside here which you will naturally don't want to damage unless you're installing a new one. Since mine is a very old engine that dates back in the early 60s, I don't know if the part is still available, so prior to removing the shaft, I would strongly suggest that you pull out the little keyway that is there. Sometimes it's stuck in there quite hard. I had a problem removing mine, but I was able anyway to bypass it by taking a small screwdriver and prying the rubber away from the keyway, because that's the seal that stops the engine oil from entering the magneto. There, I have it. Now this is the magnet that is shown in part 1 and 2. Now the next step will be to magnetize it. I will show you the procedure and safety steps you have to take in order to do this.